welcome to episode 8 of Guess I'll Die. Just a bit of a heads up for anyone who's watching the video version. This is going to be kind of a talking heavy episode, but hey, for you guys listening to the audio version, that's perfectly fine, because it's not going to be that much to look at. Alright, so it takes the troop of goblins not too long, about half a day, to get to Sandpoint on Dogback, since they do have the 4 goblin dogs. They don't necessarily hitch the dogs anywhere outside of town. They just sort of let them go, and they'll probably find them later or something. So we're here. Now what? Well, let's go and say hi. Still say this is a bad idea, but fine. Let's go and say hi. And so Yaller, since this is her idea, leads the group of goblins to the northern gate of Sandpoint, where they are immediately stopped by guards. One guard holds out a pike. He goes, not any closer. Get out of here. Go on. Get. And the other guard's just kind of confused. Still, at the ready. But he's like, hey, these guys, goblins don't usually just walk up to the gates, do they? I don't care. Let's get rid of them. Whoa. Hold on there. Hold on. Did that goblin just start talking? No, yeah, I understood it. You understand it? Yeah. Hi. Wow. So we're here to let you guys know that the raid's off. There's no more raid, and everyone's dead except for us and the people who didn't fight. But everyone's dead. You're all safe, and can we enter the town? And Yaller will have to make a diplomacy check. This is not gonna be an easy check, given oh man, what's like the average charisma of a town guard? Okay, yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Could diplomacy check. Ooh, rolled a 16. That's not gonna do it, since these guards are generally, they're not hostile, but they are unfriendly. So the DC for that is 20. plus the creature's charisma modifier, which is -1. Still 19, still fail. Right. Okay. Well, okay, let's actually have the guard sense motive as well. +2 on sense motive. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring you into town under supervision. Just make sure I'm using the right stats for these guards. Bring you into town under supervision. And in shackles. Shackles? Is that really necessary? Oh, +3 on sense motive. That's fine. Oh, man. Here we go. Yes, in shackles, because you are still goblins, and I'm not sure if I believe you. So, thankfully, the sheriff just got back, and I'm gonna have him question you. Marty, go get the shackles. We don't have small-sized shackles. Really? Yeah, sorry. Can I trust you guys to not run off the moment I turn my back? Of course we're not gonna run off. We're friendly, you know? There's no reason to there's no reason to break trust, right? Right, guys? The rest of the goblins sort of grumble non-committally and nod. Alright. I'm trusting you. So, follow me to the barracks. And every so often the town guard will look back to make sure that they haven't run off, which they didn't. And there's definitely a few onlookers, as 4 goblins are being escorted to the garrison by a guard. Once they get there, the town guard whispers something to one of the other guards stationed at the garrison, who then goes and shoos away the onlookers, and the goblins are brought to a meeting room. Alright. Stay in here while I get the sheriff, and don't break anything. I was going to say don't steal anything, but this is a meeting room. There's not really much to steal. So don't break anything. You have my honest word that we will not break anything. Can I have some water? I'll get you some water after I get the sheriff. And he slowly backs out of the room and closes the door. Okay. So far so good, right? Yeah? We're not dead or in the dungeon. This could always go bad, though. So, well, I'll just say that I'll be ready for action should things go bad. I agree with Zabas for once. well, hopefully the sheriff, whatever that is understanding. I think sheriff is kind of like the guard captain, or like, you know, a word that they use for the guard captain. Yeah, makes sense. And they have to wait a few minutes, at which point Murch starts getting bored and is actually begins gnawing on the leg of one of the tables. Before Sheriff Hemlock walks in, and Gretch slaps Murch upside the head. Ah, hey, what was that for? The sheriff's here. Oh, all right. So there really are 4 goblins here. Now, just to be clear, this isn't a prank or anything. No, of course not. You're not 4 gnomes with covered in green paint. No. You're not 4 halflings covered in green paint either. Nope, just 4 goblins. I'm Yaller of the 17th tribe. The one with the horrible scars, that's Zabas from the Moss Woods. The one with the skull on his head, that's Murch of the Thistletop. Thistletop, huh? Yep, he's one of the few surviving fighters of the Thistletop. Ain't that right, Murch? Yep. And the old-looking one's Gretch from the Licktoads. And this is Wrinkles, my familiar. Okay. And Gretch pulls out a toad from inside of her jerkin. Not a very wrinkly toad. Yeah. I'm not sure what I was thinking when I named him, but his name is Wrinkles. So, one of my men tells me that you 4 came here saying that there's no raid. Right. Just so we're clear, we're talking about the raid that the Thistletops most likely heading on the town. Well, it was sort of a joint effort, you know. Right. But the Thistletops were most likely the leaders. Yep. That was War Chief Rip Nugget. That was leading them, along with 4 Longshanks, kind of like yourselves, who were allied with them. Yes, I heard about that. One of them apparently was Amako's brother. We don't know who that is. Right. A half-elf. Oh, yeah, I remember that guy. He's a prick. Well, he's obviously dead. Defeated by the town heroes. Which brings me to my next point. Why are you here and not the town heroes? Yeah. So, merch here. So let me start from the beginning. The whole thing with the Longshanks was happening. Merch wasn't too happy with it, mostly because he just kind of hated Rip Nugget. Something about an old grudge, I think. I think he just lost too many fights. Look, he beat me twice in a row. I'm not having that. Especially when I'm the better fighter. And why the fuck does he get to be war chief, not me? And hey, shush. No need to start going crazy. Fuck him. He's dead, anyways. Merch went to the other tribes, got us. I think. What was your all's reasons for going along with this in the first place? Well, simply put, I didn't like the idea of goblins being led by Longshanks. Even if, we're doing something pretty good, or we're doing something pretty good, getting the tribes to work together and having them go towards a goal. Being led by someone that's not a goblin or kind of like us, that kind of made me unhappy, and I wasn't gonna have any more of it. I had a vision. I had used some things to induce the vision, and I knew that such a thing as us getting together was going to happen. And I went along with it. You don't usually question visions sometimes. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it true that you lick-toad goblins? Lick-toads, yes. That is the easiest way to induce visions, but they have to be sort of the poisonous variety, which Wrinkles here is not of the poisonous variety. So no, I did not use Wrinkles to have a vision. Right. And me, well, I figured, if we were known as the goblins that overthrew a war chief that was gonna work with the Longshanks, kick the Longshanks out of our territory, we'd be pretty good, pretty on the road to being heroes. And that's an important thing for you goblins, if I remember correctly. Goblins that are known as heroes amongst your kind usually end up in seats of importance, or even sometimes being called war chief. Yep. Well, you never did explain what happened to the heroes. Right. Getting to that. So, we got together and we went to Thistletop and found most of the goblins there were already dead. So, your heroes did a pretty good job. Even Bruthasmus and the War Chief were dead. They killed Bruthasmus. Yep. And they did quite a number on a whole lot of people. But I think the Longshanks that were there, that were kind of leading the whole thing, were probably a bit too much for him. One of them was we found her on an altar. It was an altar, right? Yes, it was an altar. Right, she was sacrificed, and the other 3 were fed to a creature that we kept, or that the Thistletops kept, in the in the base. So they're all dead. Yep. They are all quite dead, but we killed the other Longshanks, the bad ones. Not your heroes. We killed the bad ones. If I had to guess at Sheriff Hemlock's if I had to guess at his level, I'm pretty sure that it is here at the start of the book. Not that it matters, I just want to do a sense motive. Doesn't say here, so I'm just gonna roll him with +6. So let me get this straight. You went to complete your little quest to kill the war chief, and then went on to kill the people that were orchestrating the raids, and found that our town heroes were dead, and then came back here to tell us. Yep, that's exactly what happened. Well, I suppose I should thank you for your honesty. It is a shame that the town heroes met their end. I really wish they had waited. They could have probably taken some guards and would have done a probably better job of clearing out Thistletop. But I guess that probably would have meant that when you showed up when you did, you would have also met your end. I guess fate has a weird way of doing things. Well, you all aren't planning on getting up to any sort of funny business while you're here. No funny business. We were actually looking to sell some things, if possible. Maybe hang out around town. Because, I mean, the way I see it, we are technically your new heroes. I mean, you're not wrong on a technical level. You're not wrong. There is the problem, though, of you all being goblins. And the townsfolk aren't necessarily used to goblins hanging out, and especially not going around and claiming that they're heroes of the town. That isn't to say, though, that you're not welcome. I'm going to have to go and talk to the mayor about this. And she'll have to make a statement saying that you all are some of the good ones. And then after that statement is made, you'll be free to roam around and sell whatever you want, buy what you need, and yeah, and do all that. Though if you do cause any funny business. Right, yes, of course. No funny business, must. We'll make sure to keep a close eye on merch. And hey, that's rude. Well, you do have an anger issue problem. Do not. And I've already forgotten what his voice sounds like again. This is his voice. I do not have an anger issue problem. Either way, we'll keep an eye on him. And yeah. You never did get your water, did you? No, I didn't. Come with me. I'll have one of my men get you some drinks and give you a tour of the garrison while I go settle this. Oh, by the way, if you see an elf ranger roaming around, I would steer clear of her. Ah, the blonde one that had a bit of a rivalry with Brithasmus. That's the very same. Don't worry, we'll steer clear of her as much as we can. But she is a slippery one, so she may end up sneaking up on us and trying to slit our throats in our sleep. I'll make sure to not have her not do that if I find her in time. But if she does, and you don't die immediately, try to not fight. Well, I mean, you can defend yourselves, but don't light the town on fire. Try and find a guard, or, try to get her to listen to reason. She's not unreasonable. We'll keep it in mind. Oh, this will be interesting. Not too interesting, I hope. Right after I just got back from Magnamar. Give them a tour of the garrison. I have to go talk to the mayor. The tour of the garrison, sir? Yes, a tour of the garrison. These 4 goblins, believe it or not, did us a service. I want them to be treated well and watched. See, they don't trust us. They're not going to trust us. Well, it's for your own safety as much as it is ours. I would do the same. Perfectly reasonable. And once he leaves, and Goblin Merch slaps Yaller's arm. Goes, will you stop licking his damn boots? And listen, we need to make friends here, okay? I mean, yeah, it involved a little bit of boot licking, but that's fine if we can get what we want, right? I mean, look, we got all this money. We can sell stuff here. Maybe buy some better weapons. And if we can't, then we'll go somewhere else. Do you really think that that we're going to be allowed anywhere else? If we go to a city, we're done. That's the long and short of it, though. We won't even get to the gates. They probably have archers at one of the bigger cities. They'll just pick us off the moment we get within 60 feet of the gates. Or, you damn pessimist, they'll let us walk right in through the gates, but keep a close eye on us. It's not entirely unheard of for a goblin to do what we're doing. Where have you heard of this not unheard of thing? Don't tell me you had visions about it. I might have. Ah, boy. Fine. Let's go on this tour. And at least try and sell some things. I don't think that this place is honestly going to have much for us to buy past what we have. Speaking of which, what are you going to do with that short sword that you got off of a rib nugget? I don't know. I don't know yet. I mean, it is magical. So, I could probably have the one the long sword that I found as like a backup or something. Right, or something. After a while, after a rather oh goodness me, had to yawn. It's a little late. After a rather long tour of the garrison, they are eventually allowed to leave and meander about Sandpoint proper. I did already. I pulled up the loot list earlier, just take a look at what was on there because I couldn't remember. But I did, preemptively sell things and distributed the wealth amongst the party. And distributed the loot amongst the party. Eventually, it does become night, or start to become night. Nope. Well, fine, I'll go with Gretch. So, it's getting late. What are we going to do for lodging? That's a good question. Do you think they'll let us stay at one of the inns? Well, no one way to find out, I suppose. And that's to go there. Sure. This one looks good. The Rusty Dragon Inn. And they walk in, and Amako's kind of at the bar cleaning a glass, and she glances over, and sort of bored, and goes back to cleaning her glass for a moment before she does a double take. Hey. Hi. What can I help you with? We were looking for some rooms, if that's all right. You all wouldn't happen to be the goblins that the... Well, I don't know why Mako suddenly got, kind of country. Are you all the goblins that the mayor was talking about? Yep, that's us. Huh. Say, is it true about what happened to the town heroes? Yep, unfortunately. Dang. I like them. But need rooms? Yeah, we need rooms. Alright, if anyone asks If anyone asks, you tell them I'm making you pay double. There were some rooms that the town heroes were using. And, well, a hero's a hero. Even if they're goblins. Why don't you go up to those rooms and make use of them? But don't wreck them. This is still my place, and I can throw you out if I want to. Perfectly fine, perfectly fine. Where are these rooms? I'll show you to them. And at that point, as Omeko leaves to lead the way, Yaller turns to the rest of the group, gives 2 big thumbs up, and just has the most shit-eating grin you've ever seen on a goblin. Told you it would work. Right. So eventually, they're taken to their rooms, and in the next few days, items are sold. Ava of Ava's Armory is suspicious of where these very specific cold iron weapons came from, but she keeps those thoughts to herself. And eventually, one morning, as the goblins are enjoying breakfast, Sheriff Hemlock comes by. Ah, Sheriff! Was everything okay? No, it's not. We didn't do anything, I swear. I know. You've been well behaved, and that's good. Keep doing that. You all might have inherited some bad luck. What do you mean we inherited some bad luck? Well, there's been a murder, and I need you all to help out, figure out why there was a murder. To put it simply, I got this feeling that this is the first in a string of murders that may end up happening if it's not taken care of quickly. Our town's had plenty of unpleasant things happen to it over the years. Hell, the town nearly tore itself in half when the chopper, when his slayings went on unanswered. Seems like something similar might be happening. Last night, the murderers struck at the sawmill. There's 2 victims. They're in pretty gruesome shape. The bodies were discovered by one of the mill workers, a man named Ivor Thorne. And by the time my men and I arrived on the scene, the crowd of gawkers had already sprung up. I got my men stationed there now, but the thing that bothers me isn't the fact that we have 2 dead bodies inside. It's the fact that this is actually the second set of murders we've had in the last few days. I need your help on this matter. I got good men, but they're a little green. Green as in, like, not proven, not green as in, we got the context for this, right? Now getting to the part where you all may have inherited some bad luck. We found a note addressed to one of the previous heroes, Elsana. She was a half elf. Oh, she was the one that was, you know, she was sacrificed. Slap from Gretch. What? Yaller was trying to be subtle. Right. She was on the thing. Pretty sure the mayor already heard you, idiot. I'm not the mayor. I misspoke, sorry. Anyways. Here's the letter. And he hands Yaller the letter. The letter reads, "You will learn to love me, desire me in time as she did. Give yourself to the pack, and it shall all end. Signed, your lordship." Yeah, that's weird. That's really strange. Indeed. It is pretty strange. Oh man, is there a way to pause my recording? No, there's not. Oh no. That's unfortunate. Well. That's fine. I can get through the murder and then do other things afterwards. So, what sort of information do you have, Sheriff? Well, here's the leads that I have. The most recent murders took place here. Bodies are still there at the sawmill. That should probably be the first place you should go check. I've already told all my men to expect you all, so there shouldn't be too much problem there. With the guy that found the bodies, Ivor Thorne. You can question him, but I don't think he knows much. He was scared witless. He's probably still trying to get over that. The victims were, let me see if I put it here in my notes. The victims were Katrine Vinder and Benny Harker. Now, one of the merchants here, Katrine's father, Van, he is technically a suspect, but I don't think he would go through with this. And it's especially not doing something like killing his own daughter. He may be a bit set in some old ways and isn't used to, his daughters not listening like they used to, but, well, I don't think he did it. What of you said there were other murders? Yes. There were some con men from Galduria that were apparently staying in a barn that was just south of town. Everyone except for their bodyguard died. And when we found him, he was a gibbering mess. So we sent him off to Abe's sanatorium. Now, if you all want to go to the sanatorium and try and talk to the man, well, I'm not sure that I can help you with that. But people at the sanatorium have seen some pretty weird things, so I doubt that 4 goblins coming up to talk about this would be too strange for them. Now, the last bit of evidence we got. One of the victims has this weird star carved into their bodies. A star. You think it's... I don't know. What does the star look like? It's weird. It's got 7 points to it. Honestly, not any kind of star I've seen before, but hey. Different cults or whatever usually have weird symbols, so probably associated with something. If you need to talk to somebody about that, there's an old sage up by the old light. I'm sure you've seen that. It's the crumbled watchtower. It's the crumbled looking tower on the west side of town. Yeah, the one by the water. Yeah, we've seen that. And if you want to talk to him about it, you go talk to Broderick Quint. Quink. Maybe he can enlighten the situation of the star. Alright. Sure. Okay. Well, we will get on this right after breakfast. Merch ate our breakfast. Ate the rest of our breakfasts. So we will get on this right away. Yaller smiles at Sheriff Hemlock, who nods. Right. Also, try to not talk to too many of the other townsfolk about this. People around here tend to talk, and well, you don't want to start a fuss, right? Right. Especially not with you all around. There's plenty of people in town that don't need too much of a reason to, go after a goblin. Right, of course. Well, we shall head over to the sawmill. Right. Oh man, I need a drink real quick. All right. So, after being given directions, the goblin troop heads off to the sawmill, where they do some investigation. Now, let's see here. Okay. So, they begin investigating, starting with the pier. This mill is one of those, well, as is usually the case with most mills. They chop up the logs and then send them off via the water down to somewhere else. Or it might be the other way around. It's usually both. Or one or the other. I can't remember. Point is, logs travel on water to or from the mill. I think it's to the mill. I'm not too familiar with sawmills. As to not just throw all the goblins at this, I will roll a d4 because all these clues have associated skills. So I will roll a d4. pick one of the goblins. So with the sheets here, 1 to 4, 1 being Yaller, 2 being Gretch, 3 being Merch, 4 being Zavas. And then they will take a crack at it. And if not, I'll throw it to someone else. And if no one figures it out, then no one figures it out. So with the first clue, 3 would be Merch, who is investigating the pier. Merch takes a look around. Misses the DC. They'll probably split off. Yeah, having them split off into 2 groups would be good. So let's say Merch and Gretch are in Group B. Gretch does spot some muddy footprints that leads from one end of the pier up to the mill itself. Gonna have her and Merch. Actually, they'll make things easier. Well, no, I'll keep what I was doing. So her and Merch will have to do survival checks. Merch does find that it appears that the person with the muddy feet clambered up from the mud under the pier, crossed over to the mill, and then scaled a wall to get to a upper floor window. While they're doing that, Yaller and and Zavas are investigating the scene of the murder most foul. The interior is coated with some sawdust, mostly because it's a mill, and strewn with footprints and splashes of blood. Survival check for both of them. Yes, it appears that there was something of a struggle here for certain. From the looks of it, took place a few hours ago. Well, here are the bodies and what I can assume to be the weapon of choice. So for this one, I'll have Yaller check Katrine's body, and Zabas will check Harker's body. She's able to find Katrine's body. After seeing that one of the saw blades has some blood on it, and the body is on the lower floor, having been terribly mangled by the saw blade after Katrine had been pushed into it. Yaller does a perception check. Doesn't really find anything of importance on the body. Harker's body has been desecrated. He's been affixed to the wall by several hooks that are usually used to hang pieces of machinery. The face has been taken off, and the lower jaw is missing entirely. His chest, he's got a bare chest. No idea where his shirt went, but on his chest is definitely the Sahedron rune. I'll do that check later, but nope, Zabas takes a closer look at the body and finds that there are some other wounds on Harker's body. What appears to be deep slashes. So there's deep slashes from a weapon of some sort, but also what appear to be like claw marks. And he sort of sniffs around. Certainly smells rotten, but not from this one. Rest of the need Murch's opinion, but I think the rest of this place also smells of rot. Not a good sign. The hand axe is also looked at, say, by both Yaller and Zabas. First, there appears to be look like pieces of rotten flesh and bone are caked on the blade, and it still smells of rotten meat. God, why does it smell like that? I have an idea, but I need opinions. I think okay. So yeah, Yaller and Zabas will need to make fortitude saves. But Zabas will be able to make 2 saves on this. So these saves are to avoid being sickened by the smell. Okay, Yaller fails. Zabas, it's fine. I just rolled a second save just to be sure, but no, he's fine. Yaller will be sickened for Not that it matters, since combat's not gonna happen. But she's gonna be kind of feeling sick and barfy for a good 7 minutes. I can't be near the thing. It's fine, I'll just leave it here. I am curious, though. Well, what do you think? There are some creatures that give off a stink like this, from what I've heard. Would you know anything about them? I haven't heard too much, but I know of the stink. No. No, I don't know much about them. That's fine, we'll just wait for the others to get back. Meanwhile, the others are actually going to go and check out the marsh on the other side of the bridge. And they find nothing. So they do return. Gretch. What is it? What do you know of the undead? I have a theory. What's your theory? There might be a creature that can give off a horrible stench of flesh. I have heard of such things, but I've never seen one myself. Yes. This place does smell for certain, but I don't think that was it. Well, wait. You talking about a ghoul? Yes, I believe that's what it was called. Ghouls aren't smart enough for this. Wait, you think that I may know of... Yeah, I see where you're getting at. I may know of something that could be the culprit. What are your thoughts? Well, like I said, ghouls aren't smart enough. At least not regular ghouls. I believe I've heard of something called a ghast. It's an intelligent version, more intelligent version of a ghoul. That would explain the axe. Though the fact that the bodies have not been eaten is certainly strange. Well, if it is a ghast, then if it is a ghast, they tend to have a bit more control than regular ghouls. Like I said, they're intelligent. Basically, when you turn into a ghoul, you kind of become more animalistic. But if you manage to hold on to your brain, then, you, well, you become aghast. Well, if it was a gas that killed them, then perhaps it might have also been a gas that killed those people from wherever the sheriff said they were from. Undead aren't usually things to, aren't usually good things to look upon when you're not prepared. What about this Iber Thorn? Should we talk to him? Perhaps we should also talk to, what was his name? Ven Vinder as well. Yes, it could be an idea. Zabas, you and I, perhaps we should talk to Mr. Vinder. We both know a bit of tact, and the man did just lose a daughter. Agreed. That leaves these two to talk to Thorn. I gotta do this with him? Yes. If we want to get this done quickly, the only other way to get it done quickly is for all four of us to split up, and we know how the guards will react to that. So, we must travel in groups of 2. Which means you will have to go with Murch. Alright, fine. Hey, Murch, you know how to play a bad cop? What's a cop? Okay, it's a term that I've heard guards be called. Anyways, I'll be the nice person, and you be the bad person while we're questioning this guy. Right. Can I bite off his toes? No, I'll try and be like, nice, and you be scary, intimidating. So no biting off toes. No. Murch. Behave. Fine. Alright, let's see. Intimidation. Okay. So eventually, following Yaller and Murch, they do find Iber Thorn. His white shirt is still kind of covered in blood, and he's got some blood on his face. He looks at the 2 goblins and goes, "What do you want?" "Hi, my name's Yaller. This is Murch. We were wondering if you could help us with this whole investigation with the murder. Yeah. They're getting goblins to help with the murder? Yeah, I know it's a little strange, but hey, if you could tell us, you know, if you could tell us anything you know, then you know, that would be really helpful. I don't know much. I just found them like that. I'm not a suspect, am I? No. I don't think you're a suspect. I mean, me and Merch know all about coming up on bodies that we didn't expect to see. I mean, you know, that something like that kind of happened to us recently. We were gonna do a thing, and we found that a lot of our friends had been, you know, kind of killed. So we get what you're going through. It's kind of spooky. And with a little bit of empathy and a decent diplomacy check of 28. Alright, I didn't tell the sheriff everything I knew. Harker had a lot of midnight meetings with Katrine. But I don't think Katrine's father is involved in this. He can get pretty. He can get pretty mad, but he wouldn't do something like this. Actually, yeah, such a crushing of the DC. I would have bumped him up from indifferent to helpful. I usually roll these things as like I don't know what his charisma is, so I'm just going with like an 18. Or let's go with a 20. No, 18's fine. Yeah, 18's fine. So, depending on how much the DC is gone over by, for instance, this one, it would be for every 5 past the DC. So getting him too friendly would have been a DC, like a DC 20. Getting him to helpful would have been a 25, and y'all got 28. Is that everything? There was one other thing. Harker had been cooking the books a little bit. Burning books, yes. I approve of this. No, not burning books. He was embezzling money, stealing money from the mill. Oh, that's bad, I think. Is that bad? Yeah, that's not the best. If you're, working, right? No, that's not good. But I didn't take part in any of it. Hey, didn't say you were. Right. Harker might have had some money stashed somewhere. And, well, the sawmill is owned by the Scarnettis. They're not the greatest people. And they've been competing with other mills in the area. If they found out that Harker had been embezzling money, well, I think they might have sent someone to kill him. Interesting. What sort of people do you think the Scarnettis have access to? I don't know. They could have had access to anybody. Like I said, I don't know much about the Scarnettis, to be honest, though. Well, thank you for this. You've been pretty helpful. Thanks. Can I go? Oh, yeah, sure, you can go. Just make sure to, probably not tell anyone that. I mean, if you're gonna tell someone, tell the guards, but don't tell anyone else. It'd be bad if the Scarnettis found out. You don't know the Scarnettis, do you? I'm just joking with you. I'm just joking. I'm gonna go. Right, go on. So these Scarnettis hired someone to kill Harker. Right, Harker. And we think that guy might have been a guest. Maybe. I mean, you never know with these sorts of things. It's like I said, they're intelligent. And depending on how bad of people these Scarnettis are, they could have found a gas to do their bidding for them. I don't know. Huh. That's fucked up. Smart, but fucked up. Yeah. Would they have to pay him in flesh? Probably not. Ghasts usually tend to, they still value, gold and stuff, so, they could probably pay him in gold. Let's go find the others, see what they found out. So, while Yaller and Murch were talking to Iber, Gretch and Zabas head to Ven Vinder's place. And they are met by Ven's wife. Hello. Greetings, ma'am. We're here to talk about an unfortunate incident that involved one of your daughters. I believe her name was Katrine. Yes. Probably be better if I talked to you about this. I'm not sure how Ven would react to goblins. Well, ma'am, what do you know of the matter? Not a lot, I'm afraid. Ven is a rather angry man, but I truly don't think he would do this to Katrine. I mean, he was here at home when the event happened. And like I said, he may be prone to anger, but he wouldn't do that to his daughter. Well, you never know. Anger can cause people to do terrible things. What about you? You were here as well? Yes, of course. I mean, I told you that Ven was here. So, I would have to be here to know that he was here. She has a point. You usually end up knowing where someone is if you have seen them. True. Well, I don't think we're going to get much here. I'm sorry that this had to happen to one of your daughters. I know that may not be much coming from someone like me, who you hardly know. But I suppose it doesn't matter what race you are. Losing kin is not easy. Agreed. Thank you. Come on, Cratch. We gotta go find the others. So, what did you find? We found some interesting things, but it's probably not talk about it here. What about you? Not much, I'm afraid. Did you? Yeah. Well. We still need to find out stuff about the the rune, right? And he agreed. You should talk to this Quink fellow. Who wants to lead that? I'm fine with leading that. Fine, well then lead on. Haha. And they eventually make it over to Broddart's house and knock on the door. Hello. Doesn't seem to be... Oh, smaller folk, yes. I'm terribly sorry. You are goblins. Yes, we are. And you speak common. Do the rest of your group speak common as well? Yeah, they do. Right? Yes, I know the common tongue. As do I. Murch starts gibbering in Goblin and gets slapped by Zamas. Don't mind him. He speaks common as well. He just thinks he's funny. Well. What exactly brings you here today? How did I lose part of my pen? I think I lost something that I was fiddling with. Oh well. It's fine. Yeah. We found this weird mark. Weird mark, you say? Yes. It was a 7-pointed star, and the points kind of had they kind of looked like hooks, almost. Like barbs. The 7-pointed star. Where have you seen this? Well, from where we came from, there's the marking there. Up at Thistletop. And we saw it, well, there was a murder, and one of the murdered folks had that carved on him. Tell me, when you at Thistletop, if you look at it from the right angle, does it almost appear that one face of the cliff is actually a face? Yeah, it's got kind of like the shape of it, but not like any sort of features. It was said that on Thistletop there was a hideout or something of a ancient wizard. These ancient wizards, well, the strongest of them ruled various areas of the land. Their empire was quite wide, and this 7-pointed star was a sort of collective symbol of their empire. Though the leaders of this empire had their own varying symbols after they broke up, so to speak. They also left behind these things called rune wells, I believe they were called. They were fancy-looking, glowing pools of water. Yes, have you seen one? Might have a glowing pool of water at Thistletop. How big is it? It's really small. A minor rune, well then. Or perhaps a smaller personal version. Who? I haven't seen it, so I can't really tell you. Not that I know too much about them. It would not be good if this is indeed associated with these Thessalonian mages. But I doubt little will come of it, hopefully. What is the whole deal with the 7-pointed star, anyways? Well, the 7-pointed star. Each of the rune lords, as they were called, the leaders of old Thassalon, they each were masters in a specific area of magic. What are known now as the 7 schools of magic. But they also pioneered the use of what is known as sin magic. Magic that is powered and based off of various emotional states and actions associated with each of the 7 sins. The 7 sins. What are those? I'm afraid I don't know too much about your religious stuff. We goblins have something of a religion, but not anything like you guys. Well, the 7 sins and the 7 virtues well, since we're talking about the sins for the most part, the 7 sins are greed, lust, pride, gluttony, envy, wrath, and sloth. Each rune lord governed one of these areas. Now, I don't know much about these victims of the murders you said. What exactly has happened? Well, it appears that a couple of lovers might have gotten killed in the middle of the night up by the sawmill. Lovers. Well, if I had to guess, if this rune was involved, could possibly be related to not necessarily the rune lord of lust, but someone who has chosen lust as part of their method of targeting. That would make sense. Well, thanks. And don't tell anyone um, about the murders. You know, things have been kind of rough lately here from what I've heard. Yes, indeed. It's been quite the few weeks. You didn't do it, did you? No, of course not. I'm, well, far too old to have committed crimes. And I have no interest in killing people. Merch gives him a good hard look. Yeah, alright, sure. Savas will also get in on this. Why do you suspect me? Am I a suspect? Well, you have to forgive us. Generally, when the older someone is, at least in terms of goblins, the more powerful they are. It's kind of a sign of pride, almost, amongst goblins to be old. Because, well, I mean, we don't necessarily live long lives. Yes, that makes sense. Well, I suppose I should thank you for giving me the honor of being suspected by you. Or being suspicious of me. I don't know why I keep saying suspected. That's not a word. Well, you're welcome. Well, we have to continue the investigation, so... yes. Take care. Don't run afoul of people. We'll try not to. Let's see, after that, they head back to the garrison and talk to the sheriff. So, what did you find? Well, we might have a lead or two. Oh? Well, what sort of lead? There might have been an intelligent undead creature involved. Interesting. How'd you figure this out? The mill had a rather foul stench to it, and as did the bodies and the murder implement. The stench grew stronger the closer we got. And on Harsk, I believe his name was Harker, right? On Harker, there were, along with axe marks, what appears to be claw marks as well. We weren't able to find out much about anything from Mrs. Vinder. And the only other lead we have is, what do you know of the first murder? So, what happened? Well, A couple days ago, a patrol had been on the Lost Coast Road, you know, the road that you all came in on, the road you came in on. And they were assaulted by a man who had gone mad, it seemed. He was obviously sick, and he had a terrible fever. His eyes were wild, his frothing up the mouth, and his clothes were caked in blood. They subdued him, but when they found out where he came from, which was the barn, they found 3 mutilated bodies. These bodies were Tarch Mordwell, Leonard Hask, and Gedwin Tabe. A group of swindlers. I made sure to keep them out of Sandpoint, to keep them from conning the fair folk here. I wasn't necessarily surprised to find out that they had died. What was surprising was they all seemed to have a same marking on them. A star, I'm guessing. Yeah, how'd you know? A hunch. Let's call it a hunch. We do have the bodies. We were going to perform our own sort of autopsy if you wanted to. Take a look at them. There's also this note. This was how we were able to figure out who the people were. We found it on one of the bodies. That's it then. The note reads, Messrs. Mortwell, Hask, and Tabe. A deal has come about that I need capital for. It involves property and gold, and though I am not at liberty to tell you the exact details, it will make us all rich. Come to Bradley's barn on Cougar Creek tonight. We can meet there to discuss our futures. Signed, Your Lordship. Well, we've seen that signature before. Right. On that note, addressed to one of the late heroes. Oh, goodness me. I think that got picked up on the mic. Oh dear. Well, that's unfortunate. Oh, bother. That's fine, whatever. It happens. Bodily functions. Okay. Ah, yes, but with the power of editing, I can cut that out. Haha. I can cut this part out. It appears that this lordship might be involved with this murder and the last murder. Yeah. I think we're gonna go take a look at those bodies, just to see if it is the same person. And then we're probably gonna go to the sanatorium tomorrow. Suit yourselves. And I'll just have one of them do a heal check, and we'll have one of them aid. Or just have that one. Okay. Gretchen, Yaller, do take a look at the bodies and find that they do have claw marks that are similar to those that were found on Harker. Obviously pointing to Aghast. Well, perhaps our lordship is aghast, and he's the one that did this. Maybe. But why would he be hired by the Scarnettis? Perhaps. And here's my idea. Perhaps this lordship had already been paid by the Scarnettis, who had found out about Harker embezzling money. And sent him to kill him. And they sent him to kill him. But he killed these guys first, because they also pissed off the Scarnettis. Wouldn't it make sense to do one job first and then the other? Well, if you're, a trained killer, then you would probably take your time with this, right? You obviously need to take time to hunt. So why is this any different? You do have a point. What does this have to do with the note? What do you mean? The first murders took place 2 days ago at Cougar Creek. This, unless the Scarnettis hired this guy like a long time ago, there's no way he would have known. There's no way this lordship would have known the old heroes. We have a note addressed to one of the old heroes who, if my math is correct, they were dead before the Cougar Creek murders. That does make sense, yes. Now that you mention it. Perhaps this man at the sanatorium will help enlighten things, though I doubt we're going to get much from a madman. Well, whatever we do get, it'll be something. And then we'll have to do our own investigation, I suppose. Agreed. Well, as long as we get to kill something, I'm fine with you all investigating. Thanks for the vote of confidence, Merch. No problem. I think that's a good spot to end for now. murders afoot, and there's some connection to the old party. Now, obviously, I know what the connection is, but you guys don't. And you got a week to think about what the connection might be. But anyways, as always, I'm Matt, your forever DM, and I'll catch you next time. See you later.